Today is an exciting day in the giant watermelon patch because today we get to select what fruit we're gonna grow to monster size. And this is super important. You can only have one fruit per plant. So we need to pick the best one. So our plants are big and bushy right now. We've had lots of flowers coming out, male and female. The bees have been busy pollinating. And finally now we have several different fruits that are starting to grow. And so I'm gonna show you guys what to look for in a fruit that has the best potential to get the largest. What size, what shape, things like that. And so let's get out to the patch and pick our fruit. Let's grow. So here's plant number one, and there's actually not as many fruits as I would have thought on here, but there are some. You can see right here, there's little tiny ones that are pollinated. They're starting to grow. You can see right here, there's another one starting to grow. But as far as big ones, I'll show you over here, there's two. And honestly, I haven't made up my mind yet about which one. Here's another little fruit right here. I haven't made up my mind yet about which one I like, but I want to show you guys the shape, kind of show you my thought process behind it. But if you look up closely over here, there's a watermelon right here that's actually quite large. I was kind of surprised how quick it's growing, but yeah, this one's growing really nice. Now, when you're selecting fruit, one of the big things that I like to look for is the symmetry. I want to pick a watermelon that's very symmetrical, and you see here at the base, it kind of curves in, rather than being nice and symmetrical like an oval, rectangular type of shape. It kind of curves over at the end. Honestly, it would still grow a big watermelon, but I would ideally like one that's more symmetrical all the way down, so that there's less likely that as it gets bigger, it's going to split somewhere or crack somewhere or get like a rotten spot. So I think I'm gonna keep watching it, because I don't know, I might end up using it. But there's another one over here that you can see, and this one is a little bit more symmetrical, honestly. The only place that's not symmetrical is there at the end. It gets a little thinner, but I don't know, I kind of like the shape of this one a little bit better. But we'll see. I only have two, one here and one here so far. And so I can let them grow a little bit longer before I have to pick one to cut off and the other one to actually grow to full size. One thing that is giving me a little bit of pressure though to select one of these two, and it's kind of weighing on me, is the fact that I started a little bit later than I would have liked to. And the plants were a little bit slower to start. And so I want the fruit to grow as long as possible before the fall comes and it starts to cool down. And so I would like to take one of these fruits because they've already had a head start to start growing. I really would like to have that advantage to grow them as long as possible. So we'll see. I might end up just going with the bigger of the two, but it's really a hard choice sometimes growing these giant watermelons because you kind of fall in love with all the different fruits, but you can really only have one per plant. It's got to put all the energy into that fruit to get it the largest size. So I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do. One thing I am gonna do right now though is I'm going to apply this sheet. Let me explain what I mean by that. So when you grow giant watermelons or giant pumpkins, one thing that's unusual about them is the fruit gets so large that the leaves can't shade it. And typically with most watermelon plants, they would stay shaded. But as this melon starts to grow huge, it's gonna get so big, the leaves can't even cover it. And so the sun is gonna be constantly hitting hard on it. It's gonna be making it heat up, and that can cause it to ripen prematurely. So what you do is you take a white sheet like this that's really reflective because of the white color. I picked this one as a t-shirt. I just cut it off of a t-shirt because it's really soft and I want to be careful with the skin of that young watermelon and not scratch it or something. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna have to pause the video, but I'm going to put this on it to shelter it from the sun, and that's gonna allow it to not overheat. It's gonna protect it, and I'll probably have to do it to that one as well because you can see the sun's already starting to hit it. I want to keep the melons relatively cool so that they grow as long as possible. Actually, my neighbor is growing a giant pumpkin, but he didn't know about this this thing you do of covering it up. So his is already starting to ripen prematurely, which is going to keep it from not getting as big, and that's kind of sad. So it's kind of important to cover it up. So let's do it. All right, so I covered it really carefully. You know, make sure to pull those leaves back out. And the nice thing about a thin sheet like this is when it rains, the sheet will dry off really quickly afterwards. And so you're not having to worry about the fruit rotting or something. That's why I like to use a thin t-shirt, and that white's gonna really reflect the light. So I'll have to go do it to that one as well. And I'll be back with an update here in maybe the next few days or a week or so, and just kind of let you know which fruit I ended up picking. I'm gonna have to cut the other one off, so it's gonna be kind of sad, but it's a sacrifice worth making. Honestly, guys, this does remind me of an analogy of following Jesus, because I know for so many people, you can feel like you have one foot in Jesus and one foot in the world, and you don't really make up your mind, like, am I really all in for Jesus or not? But just like with growing these giant watermelons, you really can only have one fruit. You can only have one thing that's taking all the nutrition from the plant. The plant is designed to put its energy into that fruit. So to get the largest size, you've got to pick just one. You've got to cut the other ones off. In the same way, what is your heart most drawn to? Our heart, our affection needs to be fully in Jesus. That doesn't mean we can't have hobbies. It doesn't mean we can't enjoy things of this world. But what it does mean is that Jesus is number one. He's what's getting the energy, the love from your heart. He's the one that you're ministering to, that you're living your life serving him. You can only have one master, either Jesus or the world. Kind of like the Bible says, you can't serve God and money, right? You can't serve God and anything else. You have to only serve one. So is it going to be Jesus or is it going to be yourself? Let's choose Jesus. God bless you guys. See you in the next video.